Hey, what's up guys? It's your Brody boy Jay back with another video. I basically just filmed a video that I thought was kind of a good idea, but then as I was filming it, realized it was really bad and I didn't actually want to do it or upload it. And then basically when I was editing it, I was like, yeah, this is terrible. I'm not gonna upload this. I kind of don't want to film a video, but I know I really should. I basically just wasted half an hour filming another video that I ended up hating. Done that before. I've done that 4 times now, probably more. I guess I'm kind of gonna talk about depression a bit. I've struggled with depression for 7 years maybe. The thing about depression is it's really scary sometimes, and it really sucks. It really sucks how many people actually struggle with depression, and it's really kind of crappy and scary that it's really hard for it to be treatable, because it's not exactly treatable. It can't be cured. It can just be helped in a way. It can be helped in a way that it's not as bad and it's easier to cope with and manage. And that's kind of crappy because a lot of people don't have access to resources where they can get better help and get advice on how to cope with certain feelings. I think with mental health in general, it's really hard to get proper help with certain things. It took me a very long time until I found a psychiatrist I really liked. I've kind of hinted at me having depression, and sometimes it is quite obvious that I'm struggling with something. It's really important to have people you can trust and rely on when you are going through tough times or a very depressive episode, because if you have the right friends, they will support you and help you. But you know, friends can only do so much. If you really are struggling, then it is very important that you seek professional help. But friends do help, which is unfortunate because I do not have any friends that help me and support me through times like these. But another crappy thing is that some friends don't know how to handle it. Every teenager is going to be going through something, because all teenagers do, because it's a tough time. Being a teenager is hard because of the transition from childhood to adulthood. But since some teenagers are trying to figure themselves out and work on themselves, it's hard to really focus on other people. Sometimes it's kind of scary when you've been doing really good and then you start to get worse or start to get into a mindset that you haven't been in a while. But just know that it's okay to kind of step down a bit, because when it comes to recovery, it's different for everyone. You're not going to constantly be going up. You may go up for a little bit, you may fall down a bit, and then get back up and start going up again. If someone you know is having signs of possibly being depressed, please do something about it. At least reach out to them. At least show them that you're there, because sometimes for that person it can mean a lot. Because I feel like with depression, it's really hard when you feel like your depression is going unnoticed, because it can go unnoticed. It can go completely unnoticed and people will never know about it because it is easily masked. People can easily mask their depression because maybe they don't want to inconvenience other people about it. They don't want to talk about it, stuff like that. I have definitely experienced some of that stuff. I've in the past felt like my depression was something that I didn't want other people to have to be a part of, but you do not have to go about it alone. It's not weak to ask for help. It's probably the bravest thing you can do. It's going to get better. It is. Definition of better is different for everyone. It's not going to magically get better overnight, but things are going to be easier. They're not going to be perfect. There are still going to be bad days, and maybe your recovery process is going to take quite a bit of time, but just know that any progress is good progress. Sometimes there are bumps in the road that don't feel like bumps in the road. They feel like times where things go back to their old ways of being utter crap. And trust me when I say it's just a bump in the road, because once you start that grind of recovery and getting better, you're going to keep striving towards that. Because once you get it in your brain that you want to get better, you're going to, because that's what you want. And if you want it, you're going to take it. You're gonna get it because you deserve it. Because sometimes there have been times where I felt like I was getting worse and wasn't really doing well on my recovery. And they were definitely bumps in the road when I look back on it. They do not last very long, and they can be overcome. I, for a very long time, thought my depression made me weak. It's very easy to see it that way, but I think my depression has made me very strong and very capable. If you have been struggling with depression and are still here, that is the biggest accomplishment you can make. It is one of the biggest accomplishments you can make. Just being here. It doesn't hurt to talk about things because you might not feel like talking about them in the moment, but it's good to talk about them eventually. Maybe you need to process them, maybe you're not quite sure what's going on, but just talking. It doesn't exactly have to be about what's troubling you. Just talking in general is good. Isolating yourself can be very detrimental. There are times where you might need space, and there are times when you're blatantly isolating yourself, which is not good. I feel like with summer, it is easy for me to become depressed. Very easy. It feels very easy during the school year because of stress of school and pressures of school, but it is a lot easier with summer because you have a lot of free time and a lot of time to just sit and think. And sometimes just sitting and thinking can be harmful because it can have your mind wander to places that aren't very great. It's great to have a lot of free time, but if you are very depressed, make sure that that free time is spent doing something and not in your room just thinking about things. If you need to think about something, then think about it. But if it's depressive thoughts and self-deprecating thoughts, then you need to do something. It can be very simple, but just distract yourself, like watch Netflix, TV. I don't have cable, so it's Netflix for me. Just reading, anything to get your mind off of it. It can be a temporary fix, but it will help in the long run. When it comes to coping with depression, there's no right way to do it. There are wrong ways to do it, but I can't tell you the perfect way to do it because everyone's their own person and everyone's recovery process is different. I think that's pretty much all I wanted to talk about. Those are just some topics surrounding depression that I wanted to talk about. Remember that you're gonna get through this. and you're gonna be okay. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.